Good evening, everybody. I would like to call to order this meeting of the Wyoming City Council. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Here.
Here. Here. Here.
Here.
Here. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting is being streamed live on the city's YouTube channel, accessible from the city's website. If you would like to address City Council, please come up to the microphone to speak. The audio will not pick up if you do not speak into a microphone for those watching from YouTube. There are 3 items on the consent agenda. They are approval of the May 19th, 2025 City Council meeting minutes, approval of the June 2nd, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting minutes, and a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Integrated Schoolhouse Incorporated for information technology services. Do I hear a motion with respect to the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
Having been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda items, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
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 Those opposed? The motion carries. Are there any questions or comments on the special reports? Okay, then we will now hear a report from the acting city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Movie Night on the Green will be coming to the Village Green this Friday, June 20th at 7 p.m. and will feature Moana 2 and Wicked. The Summer Vendor Market will be happening this Saturday, June 21st at the Village Green from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. There will be a variety of vendors such as food, arts and crafts, clothing, and more. The annual Touch-a-Truck event will be Thursday, June 26th from 6 to 8 p.m. on Wyoming Avenue and on Village Green, and will feature live music by DJ Sean. Bocce Brewing and Gilligan's is hosting a cornhole tournament at Village Green on Friday, June 27th from 6 to 9 p.m. at Village Green to benefit the Wyoming Firefighters Association. There is a Gilligan's Facebook event with all the details. The P&G Big Band will hold a performance at Village Green on Saturday, June 28th at 7 p.m. This is a 20-piece orchestra comprised of P&G employees and retirees and will feature songs ranging from jazz and swing to rock and roll classics. The schedule for the city's annual July 4th events can be found on the homepage of the city's website and in the current recreation times, which is also available on the website. That's all I had.
Okay. Thank you. Are there any special committee reports not otherwise on the agenda? Okay, seeing none. We have now reached that point in our meeting where a citizen may express an opinion, make a statement, address a concern, or ask a question on any subject that is not otherwise on the agenda. Comments will be recorded into the minutes and passed along to be addressed by the appropriate staff or city council committee as needed. This portion of the meeting is not for City Council to provide responses to a citizen comment, but to hear what the citizen has to say. If you wish a response from the city to your concern or request for information, please be sure to leave your contact information with the clerk before leaving the meeting. And as a reminder, please state your name and address before making your comments to City Council. Is there anyone present that would like to bring an item not otherwise on the agenda before City Council? Okay, hearing none, we will move to the next item of business. So next is a public hearing on the renewal of special use permits for the child daycare and nursery school facilities and the group home located in the city of Wyoming. And I turn it over to Megan Stapp-Blake.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. This is our annual renewal of special use permits for daycares, nursery schools, and the group home. Staff has inspected each of the facilities. All are in compliance with their primary permits, and we do recommend approval tonight.
Awesome. Is there anyone present who would like to comment or provide input on this item? Please state your name and address for the record before addressing City Council. Seeing no one, the hearing is closed, and we'll move on to the next item of business. So the renewal of special use permits for the child daycare and nursery school facilities and the group home located in the city of Wyoming. Do I hear a motion with respect to renewal of the special use permits?
So moved. Second.
Is there any discussion?
I'd like to abstain from the vote, just as I'm chair of one of the entities on that list.
Okay,
Thank you.
anything else? Okay, so having been moved and seconded to renew the special use permits, would the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the motion carries. Okay, next is a report from the Planning Commission on the approval of the special use permit application for the Eller Bed and Breakfast Establishment at 544 Tohatchee Drive. And I understand that John Boss is going to present.
Mayor Monick, members of council, at its May 12, 2025 meeting, the Planning Commission reviewed and voted unanimously to recommend approval of a special use permit for the operation of a one-bedroom, one-bathroom bed and breakfast establishment for use by up to 2 non-resident guests to be operated by the applicant and resident owner Danielle Eller at 544 Tohatchee Drive. By way of background, our May 22nd, 2025 memorandum of the City Council explained that bed and breakfast establishments are regulated as special uses within the City of Wyoming as provided for in Chapter 1197 of the Wyoming Codified Ordinance, or otherwise known as the zoning code. No visible changes or improvements to the house or property have been proposed, and the applicant either complies with or expected to comply with the 19 distinct criteria detailed in the zoning code. That's section 1197.06, subparagraphs A through S. A public hearing is expected to be scheduled at council's meeting on July 21st, 2025, as required by the zoning code. Property owners within 300 feet were notified, and no neighboring residents or members of the public attended our meeting or have otherwise contacted city staff regarding the application at this time. By way of summary, the property appears suited for the proposed bed and breakfast establishment and will have minimum impact on the neighborhood as it is limited to a single guest room. Further, as a special use permit, and you operate on some of those tonight, actually on some of those, so you know it would come forth as a special use permit review next year. The operation of this bed and breakfast establishment will require annual reviews thereafter, as provided for in section 1197.05 of the city's zoning code. The Planning Commission therefore recommends approval of the application. Thank you. Questions?
Questions?
Thank you.
Mr. Boss, thanks for being here. They are currently, the owner of this is living in the same,
Yes,
okay. Is it an or is it,
that's a requirement.
is it a piece of the house that's,
It's a bedroom in the house.
got it, thank you.
It's a separate bathroom that the person, the individual at the two who are there can use that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I just have a comment or question. In the additional materials, there was some discussion about the distinction between the bed and breakfast operation and a transient rental. Do you have any other additional brief information about that? Or I know that there was some discussion about the different popular sites that are used to book stays in that, and then distinguishing between the transient rental type of operation and an owner occupied.
No, this is specifically identified in the zoning code, and therefore the applicant meets all those criteria. It's not to be operated, in other words, the requirement that the applicant, the resident, live there and be present and so forth. So you also have to have parking space, which they have a dedicated bathroom and so forth. And it's limited to just 2 people.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So it's recommended that the report be received. Do I hear a motion with respect to the report?
So moved.
Second?
Any further discussion or questions? No? Okay. Having been moved and seconded to receive the report, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boss.
Thank you.
So the first reading of the ordinance approving the special use permit application for the Eller Bed and Breakfast Establishment at 544 Tohatchee Drive. A public hearing and the second reading for this ordinance are set for the July 21st City Council meeting. So next is a resolution authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Adlita Construction for the Wyoming Lachlan Gateway Streetscape Improvement Project. And I think, Megan, you're up again, right?
So this project, as you could see in your agenda materials, is on the north side of our joint gateway with Lachlan, where we currently have a surface parking lot that is city-owned. We call it the Mercer property. Our public works staff has already begun some of the site prep, so you'll see that that apron that leads out onto Wyoming Avenue has already been removed. And this contract will enable us to get the full construction underway to remove the pavers and put in a pretty expansive landscape bed along the Wyoming Avenue frontage that'll include a seat wall, sign wall that matches the village green. It'll also shrink the size of the pavement by reducing the drive aisle but adding parking spaces, and then just generally kind of beautify that and tie it into the new dog park with a little bit more of that grass transition area, so it'll be a little more seamless than it currently is. We did bid the project. It came in very high from what we thought our engineers estimate how they would come in, so we did have to get creative, and Rob and his staff were very helpful in taking on some of the scope of work. We downgraded some materials, and we got it into a ballpark where the city kicked in more cash into that CIP, so we'd like to proceed with this at this time.
Okay, any questions for Megan?
No, thanks for doing it, and thanks to Rob for finding the efficiencies in the project. You reduced the cost substantially. It looks like 75 grand or so, so thank you.
And thanks to Jeremiah for letting us pull more cash. I don't know that he had a choice.
Okay, so do I hear a motion with respect to the resolution?
I move to approve as presented by Ms. Stablake.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Having been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution, all those in favor, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Those opposed? Okay, the motion carries. So next up is the first reading of the ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $3.5 million water system improvement bond anticipation notes by the City of Wyoming, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city. And Jeremiah Cotto will come up.
Good evening. So the next, I'll actually speak really on the next 3 items,
Yeah.
so F, G, and H. And if you recall, last year, the city issued a 1-year note, notes in the amount of $10 million for road and water system improvements. And this is just renewing that note for 1 more year. So the note will then expire again in the fall of 2026. And during that time, the next year, we'll gain some additional information on some grant applications to then see what additional dollars that we potentially would need to borrow to complete the road improvement plan that Rob had put together. So at that point in time, we'll convert the notes to a bond, so a long-term maturity that will be repaid over a 20-year period. And so the assumption at this point is it'll be approximately $20 million in total debt, $15 million in road improvements, and $5 million in water system improvements.
Any questions for Jeremiah? Okay, thanks. So a public hearing and the second reading of this ordinance are set for the July 21st City Council meeting. So there's 3 in a row, so now we're going on to G, which is, this is the first reading of the ordinance providing for the issuance of a not-to-exceed $6.5 million road improvement bond anticipation notes by the City of Wyoming, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city. And a public hearing and the second reading of this ordinance are set for July 21st City Council meeting. And finally, row H, this is the first reading of the ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $10 million various purpose bond anticipation notes by the City of Wyoming, Ohio, in anticipation of the issuance of bonds of the city and declaring an emergency. And then a public hearing and the second reading of this ordinance are set for the July 21st City Council meeting. Okay? Okay, so point I, this is the first reading of the ordinance approving current replacement pages to the codified ordinances of the City of Wyoming and declaring an emergency. And Emily, can you give a little more information on this?
Yes, Mayor. This is an annual ordinance that we pass every year. It updates our code of ordinances to make sure that it includes any changes, particularly in state criminal statutes, and incorporates any ordinances that the city would have passed in the past year and gets them in our actual codified ordinance book.
Does anybody have questions? No? Okay, so it's recommended that the rules be suspended and the ordinance be considered for adoption tonight. Do I hear a motion to suspend the rules?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Second?
Any discussion? Okay, having been moved and seconded to suspend the rules, it takes an affirmative vote of 5 for passage, and would the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
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 Yes, the motion carries. So we will now need a motion to adopt the ordinance tonight. Do I hear a motion with respect to the ordinance?
I move to adopt the ordinance.
Second that.
Any further discussion? Okay, having been moved and seconded to adopt the ordinance, it takes an affirmative vote of 5 for passage. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, the motion carries. So does anyone have any new business not otherwise on the agenda? And if not, we'll get to miscellaneous, and tonight we start with Joe.
All right. I have 2 items tonight. First of all, I want to thank the Wyoming Historical Society for hosting the Nadine Waters collection on Friday evening. I got to be there for that, and that was a nice opportunity to welcome people into the basement of the city building and into the to see that, as well as the rest of the collections that Sherry Sheffield has set up, as well as the Wyoming Historic Society, and kind of have that open to the public. So we had a lot more people down there than typically, and it was a nice event to add to Friday's celebrations and festivities. And second, I just want to thank Rusty, even though he's not here, as well as the communications staff here at the city for getting the word out about the unification project and public input for that ODOT has requested from everybody. Transportation to tie into history is a very important part of our community, and it always has been throughout, really the generational changes in transportation. And really, I encourage people's input, which goes through July the 9th, and would just say that it's a generational project that they're undertaking that has been going on for quite a while, and really is kind of gaining a little momentum here with this latest round of public input requests, and where that will go, in the next decade. So thank you to Rusty and City Communications for getting the word out to residents on how they can contribute and support that effort from the Wyoming community. Thanks.
Thank you. Chris?
Just maybe this might be a message to myself, but to be able to take the time to go enjoy, especially during the summertime with your family, everything that our awesome community has to offer. And it was driven home to me before I came over here today. There's a new family that moved in right behind us, and she, the wife of the family, is a classmate of mine that left a long time ago, moved downtown, and just moved back because she wanted to be back into the suburbs. And they've been in their house for about a week, and their 7th grade son was walking by with an ice cream cone, but just by himself, enjoying everything that we have to offer in a really quick way. So we got a lot of big and small things we can enjoy. I hear the concert music playing all the time now, which is great, a couple blocks away. So try to be pragmatic and intentional about enjoying all the things we have in our city. And again, that's more of a note to myself than anybody else possibly.
That's nice.
Thank you.
April?
We've had some really great events on the Village Green with the Juneteenth celebration and also the Pride celebration and karaoke bee, and really have enjoyed seeing our community come together and look forward to an awesome slate of events that are coming up. And finally feels a little bit like summer. I wish there was a little bit more sunshine, but it's great to see people at the rec center enjoying the pool as well. So thanks.
Thank you. Jody?
Just a couple things. Similar comment. I just wanted to specifically call out Emily, who isn't here tonight, but she did a lot of the heavy lifting on all the events, and it's really made I think, a pretty dramatic impact in our community in a positive way. So, kudos to her for programming that. I also wanted to say thank you to Rob and his team. I have been out in the community and heard so much positivity about the roads. I braced for negative feedback concerning the construction, but by and large, everyone is super excited and understands the necessity that we're undertaking. And so just kudos for really making a mundane thing be very important to our community. So thank you for that. And lastly, in a similar vein as Chris, I just want to encourage everyone to come out to the 4th of July parade. I think that's one of the unique things. I'm really bummed that our family is going to be out of town, but I think that's one of our hallmarks and unique events. And this year more than any, celebrating our freedoms as a community would be a really great thing to come together and do. So hit that fun little event in my absence. I'll live through you.
And Dan?
I've got 3 items tonight. One is kind of serious. That House Bill 335. I think Rusty's talked to several of us about this. There's potential that inside millage will be removed from local jurisdictions, and that could have a major impact on Wyoming and our county and all the counties in Ohio. So just for us to be aware, we'll see how this goes. Emily's looking
Terribly unconstitutional, but go ahead.
terribly unconstitutional, but that's another point. But nonetheless, it could have a serious impact. It would affect us by, I think, 10% of our revenue would be impacted if that millage is removed. So we'd have to react to that. So we'll see how that goes. The other 2 are less serious. The Village Green, Juneteenth was awesome. That event, one of the best events. So kudos to Emily and everybody who helps with the programming there at the Village Green. And Wicked, I look forward to watching Wicked. And I wanted to ask Mayor Monick if she'll be one of the 20 participants on stage for the PNG, music band that's coming.
No,
Yes.
but I can tell you that band has been, obviously members go in and out, but they are highly professional, and I think I first heard them 40 years ago.
No kidding.
So this band just kind of, get recruits new, and they really they're worth seeing.
Yeah, well, that's great. Lastly, Rob, thanks again for the road work. And my office is in the city of Cincinnati. I love the city of Cincinnati, but boy, it's night and day to the road work being done here compared to the road work being done inside the city of Cincinnati. So thanks for all your work you're doing.
Well, I don't know if I have much to add. I was actually going to go Village Green also, just because, and I feel like, the investment that we made in the Performance Pavilion and having, staff that is intentional about working, this last week, I did the fitness on the green because April told me how good it was the week before, and it was awesome. the fact the children's program was so well attended on Thursday night, and then Juneteenth on Friday night, and then I took a walk the next morning, and it's like magic. And I really do want to thank, a lot of that is also the Wyoming Community in Action. I noticed during Juneteenth, they had volunteers taking away trash like constantly to make sure that it wasn't a big problem at the end of the night. But it is pretty amazing. You can have such a big thing going on, and the next morning it just looks all tidy. So we're very fortunate. Okay. So I need a motion to excuse Councilmember Peebles.
So moved.
Second.
Having been moved and seconded to excuse Councilmember Peebles, would the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
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 Yes, the motion carries. So tonight we'll have executive session under section 121.03B1 of the codified ordinances of the City of Wyoming to consider an appointment to the Environmental Stewardship Commission to fill an unexpired term, and to consider the removal of a public official from a city commission. Do I hear a motion to adjourn to executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, having been moved and seconded to adjourn to executive session, would the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
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 Yes. So council is adjourned to executive session. And thank you for attending tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.